foods is a topic that I'd love to discuss about the Philippines, just because you don't really get the same food anywhere else. I don't believe. I've never heard of it before. In the generalization, the food that you usually eat is some sort of vinegar mixed with soy sauce, and they throw in, at times, ginger. They have other things like oregano instead of ginger, different spices, but it's mainly that. They love stews. They love soups. They love soups. You hear the word sabaw all the time. It means soup. Basically, they love, and even if something shouldn't have soup, they'd rather have soup than like. It's just very funny. But you do get a lot of soups. You have a lot of meat, pork, actually, a lot of pork. A lot of fish as well, because you are close to the ocean. You can't see it, but you do get a lot of fish. Fish is beautiful and delicious. I actually didn't like fish before serving in the Philippines. Came home, love it. Tilapia. Love tilapia, especially when it's fresh. Now, as far as the exotic foods, if you have the stomach to, delve into the exotic foods, I would recommend it, definitely, if you're an adventurous person. Now, you don't want to go to some like shanty, like little side bar, side restaurant and taste whatever food they have. You want to go to something that looks halfway decent. And I think my favorite food that they have as far as exotic goes is called dinuguan, which is basically, it sounds bad when I'm going to say it, but keep in mind that even though something sounds and looks bad, it doesn't mean that it tastes bad. It's blood pudding, and basically you get blood and you get a little bit of meat. Sometimes it's intestinal meat, and they saute it and they mix it with a little bit of spice, maybe some pepper. And it mixes so well with rice. I love it. The first time I had it, my companion told me it was chocolate. Like they cook chocolate. Obviously, it didn't smell like chocolate, and I was just like, I tasted it, and I was like, I knew it wasn't chocolate at that point, but I didn't know what it was. Anyway, I ate the whole plate, and I was just, this is really good. So, are you gonna tell me what it is? He's like, yeah. Well, it's blood. And I'm just like, what? Yeah, it's blood, and it tasted delicious. Ever since then, I was in love with it. I didn't care. Probably not the best for you. I wouldn't recommend it if you don't have a stomach for it, but I ate it as much as I could. Because I knew after I got home, no one's going to cook that, right? They do have a lot of exotic foods. I could literally talk about it for hours, but as far as the ones that I have tasted that I can comment on are, they do like grubs. They like not cockroaches. Sorry, they don't eat cockroaches. Don't worry about that. They like crickets. They do like small worms that you can find in different fruits and stuff like that. They're kind of white, and when you crisp them, when you fry them, they taste like popcorn, and with a little bit of butter. It's like naturally buttery. It's interesting. Like, you wouldn't expect it, but it's actually very appetizing. Again, I think one thing that everyone would probably want to know about is the balut. Balut is actually a duck egg. It's not a chicken egg. It's a duck egg that's fertilized. Most eggs that we have here aren't fertilized, but this is fertilized, which means that the embryo is actually forming. And when you crack it open, it's partially formed, partially not formed. And you even get some kind of it sounds bad, but it's really not that bad. If you take a bite of it, if you have the guts to take a bite out of it and don't worry about what it looks like, it tastes like, well, a mixture between an egg and chicken, which basically it is, or egg and duck. I would definitely recommend people have it. I didn't have it very frequent, but when my companion wanted it, we definitely partied up with some balut. One apiece. Dog. Don't eat dog. I have. Shouldn't have. There are facts about dog. I won't go into it. I'd stay away from it. It's healthy to stay away from it, but it was an interesting experience. It doesn't taste as weird as you might think. It kind of tastes like beef. If you don't cook it well, it can be very sort of rubbery, I suppose, like more rubbery than other meats. Not because of you have to cook it a certain way, and you have to cook it well. I remember the first time I ate dog. I don't know if you ever remember those cartoons where people are eating meat and they kind of like pull on the meat, and then like a second later it comes off. It's kind of like what it was. I was chopping down on this dog, whatever, and I couldn't get the meat off, and so I like held it with my hands and pulled at it, and kind of stretched and they came off. Not a good experience. It's really not a healthy thing, but they have a lot of things. They even eat monitor lizards called bayawak. Monitor lizard is a relative to the species of Komodo dragon. It's a smaller, and they're very plentiful in the Philippines. And so when you get a chance, I'd recommend you have one just for the experience. Usually they'll sell them on the side of the road. You can take it to a member, and the member that knows how to cook it. That's an interesting experience. Food. I miss the food. What can I say? I'm an adventurous person, so I do miss the food.